Let's get to the Inside Track panel. We've got Republican strategist Mike Hahn, Republican strategist and author of Branding America, Noel Nickpour, and NewsMax host and reporter Andrew Kraft in studio. Great to have you all here. Let's start with some of these documents that potentially were signed with the auto pen. I mean, it could be the FAA funding, it could be $40 billion to Ukraine, 4,000 pardons that were under Joe Biden. Do you think Trump actually has the power to nullify these documents?
I think we're going to find out, right?
He'll try.
He certainly probably had some attorneys looking into this at the White House. I know it was a point of contention for him when just seconds before he was inaugurated, Joe Biden pardoned his entire family and members of the January 6th committee. So I know the president has been looking into this intensely, and apparently his attorneys may have found a way to do so. So we're going to see if this is the case.
Yeah. Noel, he's really not letting this auto pen thing go, President Trump, is he? He wants to get right to the bottom of it.
No, and he's always, had a beef with Biden, and, rightfully so. I mean, the guy was incoherent, and that debate, that epic debate that we all remember where it pretty much exposed his mental, breakdown. Yeah. So I think that he's going to stay on it, whether it's legal or not. I think it's a slippery slope. And can you imagine getting a pardon by an auto pen and you're enjoying your life and eating dinner and all of a sudden, nope, you're back in there.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
It's canceled.
Andrew, though, I mean, he's threatening perjury charges against former President Biden, given that he lied about the use of the auto pen. But clearly, you think he's trolling Biden at this point? He's not going to put an elderly man who has cancer in jail, is he?
Yeah, I think it's another one of Trump's epic trolls here, only because, like we were talking offline, it could set a precedent for future presidents down the line here, just to reverse and revoke everything their predecessor has done. I mean, we've seen Trump do that already with some of Biden's executive actions, so that's not entirely unprecedented. But the pardon power is specific to the president and the president alone here. Biden, when he was about to leave office, he issued 2,500 commutations for those who committed nonviolent drug offenses. Do we really think Biden sat there and signed this 2,500 times? No, come on.
No, absolutely not. But it will be interesting, though. I mean, which document? They didn't really. Trump didn't specify which documents were use of the auto pen. But you think that we will find out which ones he maybe wants to overturn? Hunter Biden, that might be one he really wants to look into.
I'm sure they're zeroing in on that. And, I'm sure that Trump is doing this with a couple of these things that he's wanting to zero in on, and he used the auto pen a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, with all the questions surrounding former President Biden's mental acuity, fitness while in office, I think it's pretty somewhat far-fetched to say he wasn't intimately involved in the pardons involving his own family. So,
he might have known about those ones. Let's get to the latest rant here from MTG. She's been attacking Republican men. This is what she put out on, I believe it was Twitter. She writes this: typical of Republican men telling a woman to shut up and get back in the kitchen and fix me something to eat. F you in the sweetest, most southern drawl I can enunciate. I have been trying to tell the men that our kitchen pantry is empty with spider webs. Our house has been ransacked, the windows and doors. It goes on. But clearly she's not happy with I believe she was getting into it with a Republican podcaster. But, I mean, what's the shift here, Andrew? What are you seeing here with Marjorie Taylor Greene? I mean, she's now attacking her own party.
Well, yeah, that podcaster was essentially saying to her, serve out the remainder of your term. Don't leave early. I mean, that was his argument. And then she kind of took it in this weird direction of, men telling women what to do. She's always had somewhat of a independent streak. I mean, we've seen that over the last several weeks in full force here. But I don't think this is going to resonate really well.
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know what she's talking about. Look, it's very clearly a case of sour grapes at Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know for a fact she was shown polls early on this summer when she had aspirations for higher office, of either running for governor or for Senate. She was given a poll that showed that the White House did not want her to run because she would lose. And if you look at when that poll was given to her to when she started on all these crazy rants, they check out perfectly. So I think she's doing a tremendous disservice to the party by not serving out the rest of her term, to her constituents. I heard rumblings she may be running in 2028. I wish her luck against J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, but what she's doing is just not right to the president.
What do you make, though, of abandoning the party in some respects until the special election? But they're going to lose that vote.
Yeah.
Some key things here.
Well, I mean, I think we were talking about this in the green room. I actually think, as a strategist, that there's a deal where you research another candidate, and if you have dirt on them, you kind of present it, and then you kind of say, well, this is going to be exposed. I actually think that there could be a situation. It's very unusual for someone just to get out and not serve the rest of their term. That is actually very odd. So I'm just wondering if somebody came to her and said, look, we've got this. We're going to expose this. So
there could be more behind the scenes.
I think there might be a little bit more behind than her just saying, I'm out, and Republican men are horrible. She's a fighter.
Right.
And she didn't let anything back her down. So I think there's more to the story.
Let's get to President Trump. He posted a massive Truth Social on Thanksgiving. He was calling out the drug cartels and Somali gangs, but he also targeted Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, challenging his mental capacity. Governor Walz wrote back with this. It says, release the MRI results. What do you make of the exchange here between President Trump and Tim Walz? I mean, they didn't get along. We know that.
Sure.
But, I mean, now this is a Twitter.
That's a classic
now.
Trump tweet.
Yeah.
That's an all-timer, I got to say. But look, I mean, Tim Walz has been on a steady decline ever since he was the vice presidential candidate for Kamala Harris. She's come out and said that was a mistake. If you look at what's going on in Minnesota with the Somali community, New York Times just wrote about it yesterday, about how dozens of people were charged with fraud there, and it was all under Tim Walz and Keith Ellison's watch in Minnesota, and he did nothing about it. So I think the president's well within his right to get rid of people that are coming to our country, taking advantage of us, specifically when it came to COVID-19 pandemic relief funds. We're going to see what happens, but I think the president's going to certainly send people in there and get it right.
Why is Governor Walz not more focused on his own state, though? I mean, here he is, he's trying to get into it with the president, but I mean, it's like Gavin Newsom, too. They don't want to focus on their own state, but they want to seem to get in these back and forth over text.
Yeah, I mean, that was my question. Walz did announce, I believe, he is running for another term there in the Twin Cities, but this is an issue now that's on the national stage regarding the Somali immigrant population in the Twin Cities. A lot of these immigrants are here legally under this designation known as TPS, temporary protected status, keyword temporary. And so to Matt's point, there have been a lot of questions surrounding some of this COVID pandemic relief fraud and the like here. And this community, particularly there in the Twin Cities, is going to have to answer for it, and Walz should be focused on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Noel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's used to being relevant. He was relevant when he ran with Kamala Harris for VP, and then, the spotlight's off, and I think this is a way, picking a fight with the president, this is a way for him to stay front and center, and if he's running, signed up for another term, it's a way to keep his name out and look tough.
Yeah. They shouldn't have liked to take on President Trump, but he's the master of trolling.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a fair fight.
Never go, Lord.
Mike, Noel, Andrew, we got another round of Inside Track coming up at 11 o'clock. But up next,